Hey guys, this is Joseph Lucero with Powerlifting Technique, and today what we're going to talk about is how bar placement on the squat can change your form forever. We're going to really break down one of the biggest topics when it comes to the squat. It's going to be about, do I high bar or do I low bar squat? Now, with that to work, we're going to use the whiteboard today. I know I'm usually in a gym, in front of plates, in front of barbells and things like that. But for today's sake, we're going to do a little diagramming to break down some terms and biomechanics and how they can affect the way you recruit muscle. And then essentially, we'll talk about how bar placement is going to change the way you squat and how it's going to have an impression on your ability to be successful or maybe not successful. Okay, I'm going to draw an image of someone squatting. Now, I know this is not realistic, so just bear with me, but this person's squatting at a good depth, so they meet the standard of a powerlifter, but we need to talk about bar placement and how it's going to make them more effective or not. So where you place the bar will have an effect on if you can properly recruit the surface area of your foot. So check this out. Let's pretend this is the bar on someone's back. If I take the end of the barbell and draw a line down, notice how that meets the midfoot of the body. So in this position, it looks like the bar's really successful. We place the bar on the back. It's in a position to make this person successful. Usually high bar means more on the upper trap. So like the bulges in your shoulders right here, you place it on the top end, or do you place it in a low bar position where it's more on the bottom of that trap where the dimples are and it's almost across the rear deltoid. But for this person, regardless of high bar or low bar, it looks like they're in a position to be successful. Now, what happens if I talk to someone with a longer torso? So I'm going to keep everything the same except one part. So I'm going to change the distance of this person's upper body. So instead of being here, now this distance from the hip joint to the neck, that is the spine, but that's a full lever right there. Now, from the hip joint to the knee joint, that's another lever. That's the femur that houses the quads and hamstrings. From the knee joint to the ankle joint, that's the tibia and fibula. So the levers of the body are the bones. And those have the ability to influence the advantages or disadvantages of a lifter. Now, this person earlier had good advantages. They had good levers, which made leverage easier. But what if their upper body was longer? Okay. So now I'm looking at a taller lifter. Now, let's say I got high bar here above the traps, low bar here, across the bottom of the trap, across the rear deltoids. Let's say this person decides to high bar. So right up there. And then I draw a line down to the foot. You can see that this person who has a longer torso with a high bar is going to dominate the front end of their foot. So that could potentially influence the heel to raise. So now they lose surface area of the floor. That might also describe why, if you are someone who has a longer torso in high bars, this might explain why, because your heels raise, that you use a squat shoe. Because with the squat shoe, it kind of builds this ramp to reinforce the heel of your foot to keep contact with the floor. Regardless of heel support or not, we know right now that you are in a position to potentially recruit more of the front foot to maybe make you a weaker squatter. And because this lever distance is longer, that means the further you are from the hip joint means you might be recruiting more of like your low back. Okay. So here's what we can do. If you are someone who is kind of being described right now in this little video, maybe you change the way you place the bar. So instead of it being here, what if we put it lower? So let's say you're lower on the back. I draw a line down. Look at that. Now you're at the midfoot of the body. So you were here, but now I take that away. And because you are at a lower position on the back, so right about here, you're down on the midfoot. And now potentially because of weight, you put more weight on the heel of your foot. So now it's flat. And now, because this distance has decreased, now you have less pressure in your low back because of this. So that's the argument right now. Depending on your levers, do you low bar or do you high bar? Now watch this. Let's say this person has that long torso, they low barred, but then their femur changed, okay? What if their femur now is longer? Oof, not too long. Make this a little bit more realistic. Now look at this. Okay, you ready? Long torso, long femur. If this happens now, okay, and you low bar and you have these leverages, now you're in the heel of your body. Maybe now the argument's going to be, okay, maybe I might be better with a high bar squat. I would think most powerlifters would want to explore both options. And to be biased, I've heard a lot of powerlifters love the low bar because the lower you get down here, the closer the resistance is to the hip joint to make it not as gruesome on core strength. But I would definitely explore both because I have someone with short femurs, a long torso, and is taller who enjoys high bar squatting more. It seems like it's less about slouching over for him and he's more successful. But when it comes down to it, for you to understand if you should high bar or low bar depends on if you understand the math of biomechanics. So the levers of the body are the bones. The joints are the fulcrums where movement exists. And how you recruit muscles depends on bar placement and how it affects your levers. Because right now, if I do this and I hit the midfoot, I'm probably engaging my quads and my glutes and hamstrings effectively. But if I put the bar lower, if I'm more in my heel, I'm probably more biased to my glutes than my quadricep muscles. So that also has a huge factor on it too. So end of the day, the bar placement that's going to change your technique forever depends on your body type. Do you have a long torso, short torso, long legs, short legs? What is your combination? And if you want to, you can type it below in the comment section. Describe your anatomy. Which of those are you? Maybe you can share with us a video of yours. You could tag us in a video or something like that. And we can go in there and give you some tips and feedback on what makes the most sense for you. So I know it was kind of a short video. The goal for powerlifting technique isn't crazy on long videos and make it more overwhelming than it already is. The goal for us is to simplify concepts, to increase technique, to help you have better form and better success. Click the subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment below, and hopefully you enjoy this video. It makes a little bit more sense now for you and you're squatting, and hopefully you can figure out if high bar or low bar is the right form for you and how you can get stronger today.